Welcome, Chris Cox here for another Kiss guitar lesson. Today we're going to do I Want You off the Rock and Roll Over album. The tuning is E flat and it's pretty much spot on E flat, no fine tuning necessary, so you can play along with the album and this lesson. So let's go ahead and get started with that opening riff. To put your middle finger here on the 3rd fret of the B string, pinky finger on the 3rd fret of the E string. We're going to do an open G. So that's G, B, high E, back to B. And then we're going to play this. So all we're going to do is just switch to a D chord. So you're going to lift up your pinky finger, you're going to put your middle finger here on the 2nd fret of the high E string, 1st finger's on the 2nd fret of the G. We're still keeping that 3rd finger on the 3rd fret of the B. We're adding an open D, so we have this. Then we do this. That's going to be D, G, high E, E. Then we do this. Now your 1st finger is going to be on the 2nd fret of the D string, and you're going to play the open G, B, and high E. So that's just. So that's all the way down all 4 strings. Play what we have so far. And we have this. So this is going to switch up to a C chord. So you're going to have your 3rd finger on the 3rd fret of the A, middle finger 2nd fret of the D, open G, 1st fret of the B string with your 1st finger. So it has a. So when we come out of this, so you're going to play the A and D, skip the open G, and play high E and B. So I'll play that again slowly. Go back to the D. And then you come back to that E. So those chords we already know. So let's go over that C part again. A, D, high E, B, then D, G, high E, E, and then. Now that kind of repeats through again, so the whole thing, it'll go, once we come to that C part, it'll go. that C part to the D to that E chord is all played. So right before we kick into the singing part of the verse, it goes. Okay, and that's just some down-up strumming of a power chord or a bar chord. The first one is going to be C5, so you got your first finger on the 3rd fret of the A string, 3rd finger on the 5th fret of the D, and if you want to add that octave in there on the 5th fret of the G string, that'll just make it a little fuller, and you're just doing a down-up strumming. And then you switch to D5, so that's going to be 2 frets or a whole step down, so that's 5th fret of the A string, 7th fret of the D string, and again if you want to add that octave, you can play the 7th fret of the G string, and then just... So again, that strumming pattern is... So let's talk about that. So we start with a muted open E string. We do a, and it's just a down up pick there. And it's going to be actually 3 picks. So down up, 1 more down. And I should say it is a down up strum. So when you do down, up, that last up part, if you play another up pick, it's a little easier to grab that E5 power chord, so it looks like, play that again. So the E5 is going to be 7th fret of the A string, 9th fret of the D, and again if you want to add that octave you can to make the chord sound fuller. That's going to be on the 9th fret of the G string, so we have, then we do this. Now that's going to be a little walk down here from the 5th fret of the A to the 6th fret of the A to the 7th fret of the A, so, and that's kind of muted. Now we'll do down up picking, alternate picking with this too. And then you're going to grab this, and that's going to be 5th fret of the D and G. Now, just playing this is not, there was something missing, and I didn't realize that Paul actually adds a little vibrato on that little chord there. So, can you kind of hear the difference there? Versus. So you gotta kind of bar your finger across the 5th fret of the D and G and just shake those 2 strings together, just like you would any other vibrato. You want it all to try to come from the wrist if you can, so it kind of looks like this motion. So I'll kind of show you again, maybe from the side. So we have, and we repeat this again. But then we add these trills up here at the 2nd fret. So you're going to first play an open G string and do a real quick hammer on and pull off. Hammer on and pull off just means, you know, you're picking the string one time and you're hammering your finger down on the fret and then pulling down and pulling off. So we do on the G string and then we go to the D string. So it sounds like this again, slowly. Once again. Then we add this. So the first part is just, that's going to be 2nd fret of the D string, and then you're going to play the open D. Then you're going to go up to the A string and do the same thing, 2nd fret. So that's what we have so far. 2nd fret, open, 2nd fret of the A, open. Now from here we grab the 3rd fret of the low E to the 2nd fret of the low E and then back to the 3rd fret. So we have, play that slower. vibrato on that. So the next part we go after that G note, after that riff. You're going to play an A5, so that's going to be open A, first finger on the second fret of the D string. You play those together, those two strings together, and then we're going to do this. Now that's kind of tough because you got to go all the way up here high, and for some reason I love this guitar, but it is harder to play sitting down. I can play this riff a little better standing up. So what it is, we're doing a double stop and we're playing some muted low E notes in between that. So it sounds like this, and that's just, so you're actually here on the 15th fret of the B string and then 12th fret of the high E. And you're anchoring here, so there's not going to be a bend on the high E. It's all going to come here from the 15th fret of the B, so it doesn't sound as good slow either. And I'm just doing so down, up, and then play the B string and E high E together. And there's a little vibrato at the very end of the bend. So the bend is happening again on the 15th fret of the B. Now, so we go. Now, instead of grabbing that E chord way up here, we can grab the G5 here by playing just the open D and G strings together. So you go, play those two strings together, back to the A5, and repeat. Play that again. Then we do a G again, just open D and G, A5, same what we learned earlier, a C5, which is going to be 3rd fret of the A, 5th fret of the D. So we go C5, go down a half step to B5, that's going to be 2nd fret of the A, 4th fret of the D, so we have C, B, back to A5, back to G, and that's just going to be played like this. We're not going to have that major third there, so we're just going to mute that A string by laying our 3rd finger over the A string lightly. So the only part you're fretting is going to be 3rd fret of the low E, 3rd fret of the B. So we'll do this again. Then everything repeats. Just play the first lick. Okay, so that's going to start here on the 14th fret of the G string. And we're doing a bend, so full bend's 2 frets, so you do a, and then when you get to the top you're doing a vibrato. And then you do a, that's going to be 14, 12 to 14 on the G string. And you do a, so that's going to be, when you come back to that 14, play this again, a bend up. So you're bending up, release the note back down and pulling off to the 12th. Then come to the 14th of the D, back to the 12th of the G and do a bend. But we're going to pull that string down. I know a lot of times we do bend ups. This time you want to pull the string down with your first finger. So we have, so that's slower. Okay, and then we do this. Okay, so we go from here to this next lick is going to be 12th fret of the B to a bend here on the 15th fret of the high E. So you do, and then of course just like before you do a little vibrato. Now we're going to do a hammer on pull off here from 15 to 14 to 12. So it's, you can do a pull off or you can pick it. I like the pull off. So you go 15, hammer on pull off from 14 to 15 back to 14 to 12. And then you grab this. That's going to be 14th fret of the G, 15th of the high E. And then you're going to bend this note up. And that's going to be a full bend there on the 15th fret of the B, and then we do a little walk down there. That's going to be 12th fret of the B to 10th fret of the B, 12th fret of the G, 11th fret of the G, 9th fret of the G, to the 12th fret of the D, and then Paul's part ends or resolves on the 14th fret of the D string. So let's play Paul's part slowly all the way through one more time. Oops. And that is all of Paul's lead. Let's go. So this ace guitar solo starts really high up on the neck on the 22nd fret of the high E and B string. So if it's a 22 fret guitar, it's your last fret on the fretboard. If you got 24 frets, you got a couple more options there. But everything's going to be on the 22nd fret. This is a, kind of sounds like a pedal steel lick, almost like a country lick. But I guess it would be considered a double stop. So what you're doing, you're going to anchor your third finger here on this 22nd fret of the high E. Now when you play your B, you're already going to have that note bent up a little bit. So it's going to sound like this. We play the high E, and then you let that B note down. It's a little different. I have to say, this is another one of those, it seems like every guitar solo that I work on in basses, there's always one little part that's just trickier than something I've seen him do before. So this is one of those parts. It's great. But you're just, again, so you're letting those notes ring, you're kind of rocking that B string back and forth. So if you do that, you're going to come here to the 20th fret of the B string, play that note, and then you're going to come to the 21st fret of the G, and then slide out of that and play that note. So, and then we're going to come up here and go. So that's going to be the little chromatic kind of walk down there from the A string. So that'll be 12, 13, 14. On the D string, 12, 13, 14. So we just get that last part in there. Then you're going to play 12th of the G to 14th of the G. And then you do a, that's going to be a bend up, release it, and then you're pulling off from 14 to 12 on the G. Then you're going to do a 14, 12, and then play the same lick again, that we're going to go here to the 15th fret of the B. So when you bend that up, it's a full bend on the 15th fret of the B. Okay, so we have and then we play this. So that's going to be 9th fret of the G to 7th fret of the G to 9th fret of the D to 7th fret of the D, 10th fret of the A, 9th fret of the A, back to the 10. So let's play slowly what we got so far. Now we're going to come back up here to the 15th fret of the B string, and then we're going to play a really big wide bend on the 17th fret of the high E with some vibrato. So we go. So that's really, really wide there, which Ace is known for. And then we're going to do kind of that same lick we done earlier, where we're going to do on the high E. So you do a bend up at the 17, release it down, pull off from 17 to 15. So we have, and then we do a, now there's a little bit of overbend, so we do kind of that same same lick. Then we go 17, 15 on the B. But on that second bend, we go bend up a little higher, a half step higher. And then we end with that. So that big vibrato here on the 17th fret of the B string, we do. And again, a bend up and a pull off. You can kind of see that's all a common theme with this solo. You bend the note up, let it come back down to pitch, pull off to the next note, which is usually 2 frets down. So we go. Let's go back to this. So that big vibrato, and you do. So that's going to be a bend up from 17th fret to the 15th fret. So bend, and that's going to be 16th fret of the G, 14th fret of the G. Then we're going to slide from 14 to 12. Come to the 14th fret of the D, 12th fret of the G, and then you're going to slide from 14 to 16 on the G. So out of that guitar solo, we're going to go back to that intro riff. Nothing changes, but we do add one little thing. There's a little double stop bend as the song choruses out. So it's the same riff. And I should say that if you wanted to not play The little trill here, I think you can just, I believe it's right, this is right, it's just I think it's just an A power chord to a D. So if you want to just play that, those power chords instead of the now in between though, that riff there in this, I don't know if this was really played live or not. This may just be a studio thing, but they would do so that kind of double stop that we learned earlier in the song is kind of played in between that. It's in the same spot. It's on the 15th fret of the B, and then you anchor your finger on the 12th fret of the A string and just do that same thing. You play those two strings together, let them ring. So that's if you wanted to play that little fill there at the very end. But then the song just choruses out, and that is everything. So I hope you guys enjoyed it. I'm going to put the guitar tablature up on my Patreon channel hopefully this week. Putting the guitar tabs on there is time consuming. I'm still not very fast with it, and I really want to make sure I get it right. So sometimes it takes me several hours to get all that together and make sure all the parts, because I want to go through the playthrough and make sure I don't make any mistakes. And I'll probably still make some mistakes. But if you want to access my Patreon channel, there'll be a link in the description, and you can hit that link and you can join up. It's certainly appreciated, all your support. I appreciate you guys, and we'll see you soon.